Kartikeya, again, you've been with these numbers, ball by ball coverage from morning, okay? Right now, as things stand, number of winners called out are like fraction of a fraction. One winner called out in a state, two winners called out in a state. But the trends this time have been so overwhelming that without calling it, it's being called these elections, aren't they?
I think that, I can say that there are a couple of big takeaways. If North India has become BJP Yukt Bharat, South India has become BJP Mukt Bharat, it's a women-driven election. Muslims have voted for, Congress party in Telangana, but the feuds have costed Congress party immensely in all these three states. There is no generation shift. Secondly, Hindutva as a mainstay remains now. You cannot wish away Hindutva as an entity. Then, if you look at the trends, it also tells us that the ability of BJP to fight back in the last 10 days remains immense. Another big takeaway is that Congress will have to negotiate India now. Before they negotiate India, India, INDIA will have to be negotiated. And more than that, Congress will have to decide what role should it play. Should it become Dadichi? Dadichi was a rishi whose bones were used by Indra to kill a demon. But I'm using demon, Dadichi and bones in a very agnostic way,
Strategic
way and an epic agnostic way, in the sense I'm not saying that someone is a demon, but the fact is that should Congress sacrifice itself
to deal with their own demons,
to deal with Bharatiya Janata Party, or they should first fight with regional parties, cannibalize them and become some sort of a stable North Indian party. So this election has made Lok Sabha very, very easy for Narendra Modi. And there is something called Narendra Modi factor which has been enforced now. Right. The same thing came into question in Karnataka, has been reinforced, that there is something called Modi factor. And that was something linked with big prime ministers like Indira Gandhi. I would say Prime Minister Narendra Modi after this big is in league of Jawaharlal Nehru. There is no doubt about that. And when I say he's in the league of Jawaharlal Nehru, that's my point of view.
I have to hold Karthik a bit back. He's entitled to it.
The reason why I'm saying that he's in league of Jawaharlal Nehru won election despite losing a war.
Yeah.
Very few prime ministers do that.
Right.
Congress party, it was not Manmohan Singh, but after that 26/11 attack, Congress still came back to power. But Nehru lost a portion of India, but people had trust in him. Narendra Modi, by doing that last minute campaigning, doing those changes, deploying the entire leadership from center, sending them, is something which people in Congress would do. Obviously, I can't compare it with Kamraj plan, but sending senior leaders. You have Ashok Gehlot who didn't become the president of the Congress party, cooked a spook, went to Shirdi and then disappeared. ऐसा कभी होता है. So that is why I can say this. Modi is in the league of big prime minister. अगर किसी प्रधानमंत्रियों की फहरिस्त बनेगी तो उसमें जवाहरलाल नेहरू, नरेंद्र मोदी और इंदिरा गांधी साथ खड़े होंगे. कोई इसमें ऊपर नहीं है. मतलब नरेंद्र मोदी ने बराबरी कर ली है.
कार्तिकेय की बात पे ना मैं वर्ड प्ले पे मैं आ गया. तो वर्ड प्ले में there's an interesting strategic import and actually export because Congress shunned the word Bharat. Now Bharat has shunned Congress.
Fair enough.
And the big takeaway now is that I think the freebie. I mean, I have a nuanced view of development, freebies, welfareism and Revidi. I'll just spend 30 seconds on explaining what it is.
Please do, sir.
See, people say that all of them are one and the same thing. That's not the case. Welfareism as a concept, as an ideology is welcome. But at whose expense? Let's park it for now. Welfareism in today's age and time should also be equally an KRA of the corporate sector. The way it is in global economies, 75% of GDP in all global economies is driven by the corporate sector. So when I say, so in that sense, it is not an imperative that only the state, whether it is the state government or the central government, has to take the burden or do the heavy lifting always. And that's welfareism. Now development, the way Modi has coined it, has a far more profound and far more enduring impact. When we say development, in the current context, in the last 5 years, 4 years, maximum spending has been done by the government, and it is not alone on welfare policies. It is on actual ground, urban infrastructure. Right. So that is where there is a massive enduring growth at the grassroots level.
Right.
When you employ hundreds and thousands of workers building a bridge or a highway, that money is going really to the grassroots level. So that is development to my mind. We obviously have a lot of ground to cover. When you say free electricity for everyone, whether he is entitled to it or not is reverie to my mind.
You know,
Like
only
a
thing,
free bus ticket also.
Free bus ticket.
You
So
know,
I'm
only
saying
thing I
when
mean
there
to
is
is
no
Does
there is no
everyone
qualifying
need a free bus
criteria.
ticket? Does everyone need
But
subsidized
net
electricity? That
this
is the question.
freebie thing is here to stay.
you know, in
Sadly. to my
So
Krishna,
there's good shops, there's bad shops.
Yeah.
Krishna-
So Shri, what is the import? You know, I'm a little worried about the fiscal federal structure.
No, no, absolutely.
You know,
Without
who
doubt.
is going to foot that bill? Now there is no politician
That
who has
answer
the
is very clear. It's you and me, the electorate.
absolutely the middle class,
taxpayer.
the middle.
They
Who is
have to
paying the
foot the
tax?
bill eventually. Who else is going to foot the bill?
TDS at the salary cut.
Yes.
You have no control on
If the
it.
government is going broke, where's the money going to come from? It's going to come from the taxpayers.
but then you
So
know,
we have to understand that.
That's us in the studio and all those watching us as well.
Krishna,
Absolutely.
the devil's advocate. Let me be the devil's advocate here.
Please do.
A lot of people will say that everyone pays tax. You have indirect taxes. So you have direct tax and you have got indirect tax. So everyone pays taxes.
We do both.
No,
It's not a
no,
question
no,
of paying
no,
taxes,
it's
it's a
not.
question
No,
of paying
no.
more and more taxes.
More and more taxes being taxed twice, what's called taxation as a curse.
Yeah.
It is applying largely to the Indian middle class.
Because the Indian
And
middle
who
class
also-
ends up
because-
paying nearly 55%
I have
of its
all the-
income
because
with direct and indirect tax
Karthikeya,
put together.
to
The
respond to
joke
your
is-
question,
joke is
all
what-
the respect for the farmer, but the rich farmers get away with it.
Yes.
And the corporate sector, unfortunately, this particular government,
Sir.
I'm sorry to say, you know, gave them, you know, the
But
individual income
that's the
tax
problem
is
of a cap-
41%.
That's the problem of a captive vote. Muslims were a captive vote for the Congress. What Muslim were for the Congress in 1970s and 80s. Middle classes for Bharatiya Janata Party.
No, I'm not too sure about whether BJP can take for granted the
Okay.
middle class as a vote
But
in
then, you know,
2024.
Krishna,
Yeah.
The question is, now, after this handsome win, will the older satraps be replaced by Amit
Oh,
Shah,
big
JP
question,
Nadda,
big question, big
Prime
question.
Minister Narendra Modi? That is the issue. Whether Vasundhara will come back,
Okay.
what will happen to Raman Singh, what will happen to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who is, you know, giving tic tacs.